The beginning of your career is looking 3 to 5 years down the road, but it starts with day one. Day one is understanding the oath that you take. That oath is to protect and serve the citizens of Granville County. That oath is to be committed to selflessness, that to be courageous in your acts of selflessness. So we are committed to you as an employee. We want you to be committed to us as a family. And that's what I tell all of you, just like when I swear you in. I tell the families, you are now part of our family. But also understand, we're a family connected, because your waking hours are spent more with me and with your brothers and sisters in blue than you do with your families, because there is no us without you. And you are key and critical to the mission of this community and this office. As you protect and serve this community, there will be people that you encounter on the worst days of their life. They may not like the fact of what you have to do to enforce the laws, but when those individuals need help, you're the person they will call. You're the person they want their protection from. Make sure their rights are not violated. So it's a balancing act of us being servants to us being protectors of the law and the Constitution. This is a paramilitary organization, and we're out here basically doing the yeoman's work of the ground and the safety and security of these communities by enforcing the laws of the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of North Carolina. The statutes and the ordinances that we have to enforce is incumbent upon you as a new deputy to make those things work, all while keeping our community safe and all while making sure that they're happy and pleased with what we're doing. People may not like what you do, but guess who they call when they need you? They call you, the deputy.
A typical day in the life of a deputy, not only are they have to respond to calls for service, they still have to serve civil subpoenas, child support, jury notice. So the deputies still do all of that also. And every now and then, if they need help over at the courthouse, they might have to go assist in the court. And like I said, we never know when we might get a mental subject that needs to be transported to Duke, or a mental subject that's misbehaving at the hospital.
So I work on patrol. One of the most important things we do on patrol is answering 911 calls. That is our primary focus of being on patrol, answering 911 calls. When someone calls 911, whether it be from the smallest noises complaint to the biggest domestic to people wanting to give an anonymous tips, that's what patrol responds to.
The call volume is not as bad as I have seen my whole career, but it's not going to be a quiet day.
There is no typical day. You have that completely right. You never know how your day is going to start. It could start off with being able to catch breakfast in the morning and, making sure you finished everything from the day prior to, because none of us are perfect. It always helps to go over your paperwork a second time.
But when it comes to new recruits, first of all, they're going to be put in a field training program, which is at minimum 12 weeks, where they will be with either a corporal, sergeant, and every now and then with a lieutenant. Law enforcement is not a position or a job where you need to try to figure stuff out on your own, because it's too much liability. So if you're not sure how to do something, we have a chain of command, which means that they will go to their corporals first, and it will go up the chain: corporal, sergeant, lieutenant.
Our third objective is proactive patrol, i.e. traffic stops, getting out and meeting people, filling out field interview cards of people that we meet, just to name and date of birth. And what that does for us is the guys who are always down here moving, when a big investigation comes up, it allows us to be a little bit more helpful, because we know that people that are in our, I'm going to just say, territory.
One thing that I tell my officers, seasoned or new, treat every domestic situation as if it's your first time ever going there. I do not encourage my officers to go to any domestic situation alone, because you might go there thinking a female is a victim and she could be the aggressor. Every day is a new day. Respect the people and know why you're doing it. You do not get in law enforcement for money. You have to get in it because it's a career or a choice that you want to do to help the community.
We get civil processes every day, 30 to 40 a day. Those civil processes have a time stamp that they have to be served. Somebody has to go to court. So those criminal summons, those subpoenas that people have to go to court for, it is key and critical for you as a deputy to understand that those civil processes are more important than people understand. And when we get those civil processes, they're stamped, they're time stamped too, from the clerk of court to us. And the importance of having it returned, even if you can't return it, you go by somebody's house 3 or 4 times, I need you to annotate that. And I need you to articulate what those things are, so we are, the administrative officer of the court doesn't have a bad eye or opinion of Granville County Sheriff's Office that we're not taking the due diligence to make sure that these papers are served.
Civil guys have to deliver anything from magistrate summons, summary ejectments, down to officers doing the evictions. They have to possess good communication skills. They have to have attention to detail. They have to be knowledgeable in the legal process and legal procedures that take place with the paperwork that we receive from the courts, and the ability to work under pressure, I'd say, because things can get tense sometimes when you're serving on some individual, but you have to be able to still maintain your professionalism, but be able to execute your duties. But there again, they're knowledgeable in their job, so they're able to explain to the individuals or to the people in the public what the paper is and why they're here to serve it. They might not understand why they got the paper, but they understand why we are there to give them the paper, if that makes sense.
But when you start talking about criminal investigations, our patrol unit will respond to a call. So what if it's a burglary? So we see that it's not something that somebody's in the house right now that you have to arrest them on, but then you have to do the yeoman's work, the leg work to connect the dots. So you have to call a detective or an investigator. That investigator has fingerprints, statements, footage they have to take. We have a feral camera system that has a 3D imaging where a detective can come in and recreate a crime scene to understand what has transpired and connect those dots to, hey, did the person get shot through the window? Did the person get robbed? Where were they robbed? Any bullets, casings on the ground? Learning crime scene integrity and those types of things. So it's incumbent upon us as an intelligence gathering from the Special Operations Unit to disseminate security briefs so you can grow into those positions, but you start at the bottom and you work your way through. But you will be able to shadow some of these individuals and you will understand the complexities of what we have.
Everybody works together with patrol. Patrol guys are usually the first one on the scene. So they can give us a lot of information on our way there, and once we get there, they have a lot of information they can give us. We take care of from homicide to B&Es to missing person. Anything that's criminal, there may be a crime, we look into it. All of my investigators are capable of doing. We don't have certain divisions. Most people need to start out on patrol to kind of see where the investigations start. You learn how to write a report and be detailed, because as an investigator, you have to be real detailed in your report writing. Well, Granville County has the same type of crime as any other county, any other city. We have the same type of crime. We have assaults, we have our B&Es, we have our homicides, we have our fraud cases. It's a gamut of crimes. We all have to work together. If you have a missing child, we call school resource officers because they probably know who that kid is. And they can probably lead us to some of the friends or who they hang out with. So everybody works together. So yeah, it's a good group of men and women, and it's good to be working here.
We want to make sure that the younger kids, we're sowing those seeds of responsibility. That's why it's incumbent upon you as a deputy to go into the schools when you're on patrol, to go into elementary schools, because we don't want those young ones coming to our jails later. And we don't want the ones now to come back. That's why it's important for you as a deputy to get out the car just for a minute, fist bump, talk to them, introduce yourself, making sure that no matter where you are, You remember the oath that you took on and off duty.
So skill set for a school resource officer is the ability to be able to build a rapport with the students. It's required, in my opinion, to be a successful SRO. Vast amount of knowledge and training is required for this position. They're trained in childhood development, juvenile laws, positive behavioral interventions, classroom management, conflict de-escalation. I mean, that's just some of the training, and it's numerous classes that the guys attend, but those are just some of the skill set that they need to, in my opinion, to be a productive SRO.
We're liaisons between law enforcement and the actual school board, school administration. We assist them in different categories. We assist them in dealing with students that have behavioral issues. We assist in not legal issues, but giving them some advice on how they can handle situations.
You have to have at least 1 year of your BLET, which is your basic law enforcement training through the state. After that, you have to attend a school resource officer's training, which is a 40-hour block that goes over juvenile laws and the do's and don'ts of an officer. Because if you're a certified SRO officer, there's some things that you can do that the normal officers cannot, regular certified officers cannot. So that class teaches you those things, and it puts you more along the lines of what you can and cannot do.
You can search cars, you can search bags, you can search person, you can search lockers. You can act on reasonable suspicion. You can go to a bathroom. You see some wrongdoing going on, you can act on it. You don't have to have probable cause like a deputy that doesn't have the certification. They have to have probable cause to act. We just have to have reasonable suspicion to act on school grounds. It's 40 hours training. Every summer, we have 3 extra trainings that we go to. We attend the Juvenile Officers Conference. We attend the North Carolina Association of SROs, which is made up of all the SROs in the state of North Carolina.
Our SROs assist our administration at each school with metal detectors. That's one of the avenues that we use to try to keep anything out of the school that does not need to be. Our officers are the go-to there at every school.
I would say if somebody thinking to be an SRO, you need to at least work the road, at least work patrol. I would say 5, 6, 7 years, become a veteran on patrol so you can know how to interact with people.
I can't say enough about the relationship that we have with our school system. We're very fortunate with that.
We're up to 7 certified K9s. Granville County Sheriff's Office has the first woman K9 handler in its history now. And we have taken an approach not to do drug interdiction and worry about 85. We've taken an approach of the arteries and veins of this gateway community to see what those things are like.
So he's gonna be training narcotic detection, tracking, and apprehension once he, eventually. So he'll do the whole 9 yards.
So our K9 units are in specialized units and on patrol and in the warrant squad. We have apprehension K9s, we have bloodhounds, we have a cell phone detection dog that we're training now to get trained up to where we can check contraband in the jails. My vision is to have at least 10 K9s, 4 on each rotation, and then the specialized units will have some as well. The thing that I want you as a new deputy to understand and the community to understand is we first have to think of training. And why do we send people to training, right? Because I want to start the process of making you the next sheriff, the next U.S. Marshal, the next Special Operations Chief. But I do that through training and education, right?
Professional standards is any specialty training for any department, say patrol, they have to have different training. They have to drive in any firearms training. The investigators have to do homicides, collections of evidence. We also handle internal investigations. I do backgrounds, military backgrounds, criminal history. We also handle logistics, our gun orders, our ammunition, any resources to support the officers. We also support the fleet, taking care of the vehicles, maintenance, and also the stripings of the vehicles, and the installation of equipment such as computers, the lights that goes on the vehicle, making sure they're safe. We're here to help the officers, and we're also here to support this agency.
The Granville County Sheriff's Office is one of the most diverse sheriff's offices in the state. It's one of the most progressive yet humble agencies around now, and we believe in the service work. So I am the sheriff of Granville County Sheriff's Office, and I am the servant leader that the community elected. That's who I am. We're part of the community. We're embedded in the processes of being present and vigilant in our job responsibilities and duties. It's not about just driving past and seeing that blue car, that white car with the blue striping on it. Get out those cars. You have to be more active in the communities. I'm active in the communities. So I want you to be reflective of me, and I want you to be a reflection of yourself. When you see yourself in the mornings, who am I and whose am I? Because the broken windows theory is something that I always studied in how to make things change. We don't want to overlook these underserved communities. We want you to get out and meet your neighbors, because those are the people that may protect you when you need backup as well. We will be the next Apex. We will be the next Wake Forest. And I need you as a deputy to be the next chief of division. That's what I see in every deputy. That's the seeds I want to plant in every deputy. You're next. I want you to be the next chief, the next sergeant, the next corporal. I want you to be the next leader in this agency. But it all starts from day one.